You're listening to Happy Healthy Hormones with Dr. Chris. Are you tired of the short-term patch to your health problems? Is avoiding medications and surgeries important to you? If you answered yes, then your prayers have been answered. Dr. Chris has been helping people transform their health for over a decade. He's a world-renowned health expert who specializes in holistic health. He's a professional speaker, chiropractor, and international best-selling author. It's his mission to help you reach your full God-given potential through holistic health and healing. Get ready to be inspired and transformed. Here's your host, Dr. Chris.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Dr. Chris here. Hey, I'm excited to be here with you today because I got some cool stuff to share with you today. You know, one of the key aspects when it comes to changing your health and getting yourself well comes to one thing, and that comes to your state of mind. You know, the biggest thieves of our health is procrastination, and that procrastination comes from a direct correlation from what our thoughts are, what we're thinking about most, what we're putting highest on our value in our life. And so today I want to help you understand really the healing power of the mind. And if you are going to overcome the struggle or the limitation that you're facing with right now, you've got to start with what you're thinking about, what you're putting in your mind, what you're focusing on the most, and really where your headspace is. And, you know, I have people say, well, Dr. Chris, they poo-poo on the positive thinking, and no, it goes beyond positive thinking. And this isn't something that, you know, you can just start thinking about today and just think, hey, I'm going to be all right, I'm better, I am healthy, I am strong, and everything's going to be just fine. You've got to put in the time. And this is working a muscle. Just like working a bicep or your quads and your legs, you've got to work that mind muscle, that positive thinking muscle, just that engagement, that focus, and your intention. Because you're going to have things creep into your head. When you are struggling with things and you are down and out, you are going to have some pretty negative, nasty doubt, self-talk going on between your ears. And we always have it there to some degree, no matter who you are. The feeling that you're not good enough, or maybe you're not loved, or that you're just, you come up short in these certain areas of your life, or because this happened last time, this is going to happen again. It's just how it is in my life. And you've just got to start to quiet those noises. And there's some cool techniques you can do to quiet those noises. There's some things you can do in your daily life, not just affirmations. I'm talking some really cool things you can do to start to drown out the noise and create your own noise, which is that just walking into that stadium with everyone cheering you on type of noise. But again, it comes down to one thing: having the faith that you can get yourself better, that you can make a change in your habits. So I want to read this quote from Marie Ann Williamson. I think it really sums it up nice. It says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are we, or who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in every one. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." Don't you love that? That's so true. And when you are letting your light shine through, when you are daring to do something great, when you are putting yourself out there, not caring what anyone else thinks, you're going to bring other people with you. You're going to motivate other people to start to change their health. As you start losing the weight, you're going to motivate people around you to start to lose the weight. You're going to start to impact potentially millions of people by the actions that you make right here today. So in 1964, there was a psychiatrist named George Solomon. And what he noticed was that people with rheumatoid arthritis got worse in their symptoms when they were depressed. So he is literally the founder or the father of what's called psychoneuroimmunology. So the psycho for psychology, the neuro for the neurology or the nervous system, and immunology for immunity. So what he found was that there is an extreme correlation between your mind and your body, and that there are different techniques you can use to help connect those two to influence one or the other. And it can help treat a myriad of diseases and help you overcome those things, including things like cancer that have been studies on, high blood pressure, asthma, coronary heart disease, obesity, pain and nausea, vomiting related to chemotherapy, insomnia, diabetes, stomach and intestinal problems, fibromyalgia, menopausal symptoms, mental health issues, anxiety, and depression. I mean, man, I just listed a ton of stuff right there. But it all comes down to what you think about most. And our emotions and how we are expressing ourselves and what's going on in our minds on a daily basis directly relates to our physical being. So, for instance, when we have fear, a lot of times we'll get goosebumps, right? Or when we're really stressed out, we'll get high blood pressure, right? Or when we get startled, we might have an increased heart rate, or the anticipation, it will have the increased heart rate. So all these emotions, we can think of different things, different scenarios that will raise our body processes like the heart rate or blood pressure or decrease. And it's not just isolated to those couple of things, but every process in your body, it's all connected. Now, the hypothalamus, which is in that area of your brain, is huge because that is the emotion center, and it controls hormones and the responses. So, for instance, when you have fear, it's going to release adrenaline. So as you have these different thoughts, you can actually influence your hormones from your adrenaline to your sex hormones, cortisol levels, growth hormone, sex hormone. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and it all comes back down to controlling things with our mind. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be like someone from the X-Men and you can control people's minds and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you having the influence to change your physiology just based on your thoughts. Now, just a simple positive thought that runs through your head will actually increase your immune system. Versus if you have negative thoughts all the time. And this is stuff where they hook people up to machines and they're testing their brains and they're testing their serum levels and their blood and everything else. And they find that, well, their immune system goes up when they're thinking positive thoughts. And when their immune system crashes, it's because they were thinking negative thoughts. And there's a lot to go on with that. But literally just being able to meditate and visualize things that you want to have happen in your life will vitally create health changes in your life. So visualizing health, vitality, a strong immune system will all create those mind patterns and will also affect your hormones, and correlate with that will create amazing changes in your body. But you've got to start there, because if you're always thinking you're going to be sick and you're depressed and you have all these issues and you're never going to be able to change anything, and it's all this doom and gloom and negativity, it's directly affecting your hormones and your physiology in your body, whether you think it is or not, whether you're trying to control it or not. So I think Henry Ford summed it up best. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So what are you thinking about right now? Like when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you're focusing on? You just go into your phone and checking that next email that's going to stress you out, or looking at that next text, which could throw your whole day off, or looking at the news, which has all these depressing things that are happening around the world right now? Or are you getting in that meditative state? Are you getting in that state of gratitude? Are you journaling and writing down all the positive things you're looking forward to today, or all the things you're grateful for? Are you visualizing all the things that are going to happen in your favor today and all the people you're going to influence? Are you praying and giving thanks to God for the amazing life that you have right now and all the things that are going good in your life? But that'll change everything right there. How you start your day is going to change your hormones for the day. Like whether your body starts producing cortisol or whether it starts producing dopamine and serotonin, which is your feel-good hormones, is going to directly relate to what's going on for the rest of your day. That's why you wake up with a bad, quote-unquote, a bad morning, wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and it ruins the rest of your day because you're constantly thinking about that next bad thing, and it throws your whole day off because it's just not your mind, it's your physiology. Now, one of the biggest problems I see when it comes to people getting better is they start to define themselves from a disease that they have. they focus on this, and that brings on more sickness. We see it more on TV. We see it on Google. We see it in ourselves with a diagnosis, all these bad things and these symptoms and what they could mean in our lives. Dr. Google, right? Don't define yourself by a disease that some doctor gave you. Because if you just focus on that, you will become that disease, and it'll be extremely hard for you to overcome that. So you're not that diagnosis. You're not the person with diabetes. You're not the person with heart disease. You're a person that has great abundance in your life. You're a person that has all the healing power inside them to overcome any obstacle. That's who you are. Now, I don't care whether you believe in what I'm talking about or not, because this is just science. This is just research. In fact, the medical model itself, the medical model states that placebo works as much as 30% of the time. So just giving someone an actual medication, giving them just a sugar pill, 30% of the time, that sugar pill will work. So this is, and then this is crazy with this doctor, Dr. Herbert Benson of Harvard. He stated that although it's conclusive that it works up to 30% of the time, it may work up to 90% of the time. Again, just believing that something's going to happen, something's going to change, something's going to get better because of some action that you're taking. So there's some different things you can do to help change the way you think, because you might be in a real funk, you might be really depressed, you might just have a bad outlook, you might think that you're that negative person right now. So there's some things you can do to start to change how you're looking and how you're looking at things. So biofeedback is great. So this is where people are actually trained to control certain bodily processes that normally occur involuntarily, like your heart rate or blood rate, and be able to actually control those processes. And they hook these people up to computers and monitors, and they can actually watch them change these body temperatures and heart rates and blood pressures just by their thoughts, which is pretty amazing. But biofeedback can be used for a lot of different things, from allergies and chronic pain and just changing the way that people even think. There's also cognitive behavioral therapy. So this is a technique that's used to help people recognize and change harmful thoughts. For example, people with phobias might deliberately expose themselves under the direction of guidance and a therapist, of course, to what they're afraid of. Or people who are depressed can learn to counter negative thoughts and feelings with positive ones. There's also relaxation techniques. So some of these things include, there's three major ones. There's autogenic training. So it's a technique that uses both visual imagery and body awareness to create like a deep state of relaxation. There's progressive muscle relaxation. So this is another technique that involves slowly tensing and then releasing each muscle group in the body, starting with your toes and then finishing with your head. There's meditation. Like the two most popular forms of meditation in the U.S. are transcendental meditation and mindfulness meditation. So meditation can be really hard for some people, but just getting that visualization and praying is a huge thing. You can even do things like hypnosis. Their spirituality is a huge one, right? Researchers have been studying how spiritual beliefs affect attitudes and affect your health. In a recent study they showed people with HIV who had faith in God and compassion towards others had a much higher chance of surviving for a long time with AIDS than those who didn't have a faith practice. So you just have belief in yourself, believe in something, a higher power, but act in accordance with your beliefs, because your truth is not your truth. It's a limiting belief that you have, and you got to start to learn how to disprove that and commit to whatever action step you want to take to improve yourself, because 80% of the change you're going to make is through your mindset, and 20% is going to be through that action. So just get entrenched in it. Get that affirmation, your empowering beliefs, your core strengths. Repeat those things to yourself. Put it up all around you. Just get a plan together and follow the principles to health. Remember, your body needs no help healing, just no interference.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please help more people in reaching their fullest potential, and rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. For show notes and other free resources we mentioned today, go to newedgewellness.com.